Welcome everyone, we are going into the second game's draft. Joining with us, a special guest. It's going to be LS, Whippo, of course Kobe and myself. What were your thoughts on the first game's draft overall?
The first game draft, I thought it was a little bit weird because Team Liquid, they opened B1 Azir, and I think that, I really think B1 Azir should not be viable in modern meta, but it just continues to get away. And I felt like Shopify Rebellion, they have a really funny chance to do something crazy, which is just take Ziggs. Because not only does it vacuum answer the Azir, it theme answers him, lets you develop the draft, he's multi-flex, and then it steals APA's best champion for the remainder of Fearless.
Yeah. Okay, I mean, that makes sense. Like, actually, and also, you didn't get a prediction. We had this huge, graphic of predictions for the series. You got to tell us what your prediction is with game numbers in tow.
I think Shopify is going to end up walking away. It's either 3-0 or 3-1, but I think Shopify Rebellion will take the win.
All right, we have you for the draft for this one, so let's just go straight into it already. We're already seeing the Yone ban, but I don't think, they have first banned Yone, I feel like, in every game, Team Liquid. So what are your thoughts so far going into game two? I want to hear all your guys' opinion, honestly.
From my perspective, I think it's really important that Shopify are very aware of the blind pick tank that is coming. The Gwen gets banned out here. That should ring some alarm bells. A Sion could be on the horizon here. Something similar. When Rumble is out, he's kind of a champion that is a blind pick champion that also does really well into most tanks. He's got really good Imar Shred on his E, and he obviously has max health damage on Q, plus his passive, which means that when Rumble and Gwen are out, a lot of people start getting more comfortable blind picking tanks. I'm looking forward to see what Fudge has got cooked on the red side for this Sion that is incoming, because I'm assuming it's going to be a Sion blind.
Yeah.
So this was really interesting because Neeko was banned by TL in game one, and now they're opting for B1 Neeko. This is also one of APA's champions. This is one of his favorite champions that he's played time and time again. I think he's one of the only pro players that actually uses the special Neeko hotkeys that exists when you load into the game with her. A lot of people don't even know that that's a thing, and that lets you do the quick transforms for special champion interactions. So I agree with everything that Whippo just said, and also even more so because I'm wondering if Impact even wants to try to play carry or bruiser matchups into Fudge for this series after just what happened in game one.
100%.
Yeah, I feel like if he plays another semi-carry / bruiser champion, it would be like Renekton or something, but I definitely agree. Like Sion and Ornn look pretty good for blind picks for him this game. Let's see what they go with though.
This is a little interesting in that you have Kalista coming up. Obviously, it can potentially have the Neeko pairing, but I think that if you're going to lock okay, never mind. Zhao is going to get locked here. I am a really big Zhao hater if he doesn't have enchanters accompanying him, because I think it completely morphs the champion. He goes from being like B tier, like low A, to S, or I'll say it Z, freak. How you doing? And there's the Sion that Whippo was talking about. And Fudge, I think, is just going to be able to punish this.
I think he should be able to. One thing to note is with Lucian as a pairing, a lot of teams really prioritize enchanters with him. Some teams have pivoted towards the Braum. Globally, Lucian Braum has been very, very popular as well. In this case, however, TL is basically throwing down the gauntlet saying, you know what, we're going to slam Sion blind. If you take your enchanter pairing or your Braum, we are going to ban out the Lucian match, like the Lucian champions that people like to pair him with, and then we're going to be able to either attack the Lucian and the enchanters or attack the counter picks for Fudge.
So I want to get your thoughts also, Whippo. If you are the coach for Shopify right now, what are you going to give to Fudge to counter this blind pick Sion for Impact?
Well, we'll have to look at the first round of bans, the second round of bans here real quick. Obviously, there's the Renekton. I think that matchup is just very simple, very easy to play, and you are going to be able to beat out the Sion in lane and then have more impact mid-game. Sion's biggest strength is not that he's a late-game scaling tank, it's that he spikes mid-game. Health is at its most valuable in mid-game before penetration items comes in, because Sion rushes our resistances, scales his soul furnace with those resistances, and then when the penetration items come in, that's when he starts falling off. So if you match him with a super strong spiking mid-game carry like Renekton, he's just going to be tankier than the Sion and deal more damage because the Sion gets focused down too easily by a Black Cleaver Renekton. So we're going to have to look at if there's any bans there. I personally don't like the Gnar too much. I feel like Gnar is a bit of a non-factor, so we'll have to see what Fudge has cooked up. I'm expecting a Renekton ban here for Sion, but it's not necessary. You can choose to play that matchup.
And then LS, for me, which side of the draft do you like so far in first phase, and what do you think both teams need to do to complete the draft?
Well, I'm thinking the Neeko is still potentially a flex pick, and they might have made Shopify Rebellion think that it's going to end up going support, and so you get the Lucian Nami, and then, what is Neeko going to end up pairing with, and then you sort of play it from there. I think that also Shopify, they might even have other things in mind for playing against the Sion. Like, they might actually just go tank versus scaling tank and then just get a bigger tank. I'm a little bit worried if they, depending on what their fourth pick is here, that Team Liquid actually just pivots into a lot of scaling. I'm not a very big fan of the Aatrox because this is making the Shopify Rebellion team comp now very focused on the mid game. They have to essentially stack Drakes early now, guaranteed Lucian Nami, get ahead early, stack those dragons, and now they must win the third dragon fight. And I always hate team compositions that are predicated on trying to and guaranteeing a third dragon win.
Do you think there's anything from Shopify Rebellion's comp that can save that and allow them to scale a little better?
I don't know what they're going to aim for on. They're giving counterpick to Palafox on R5.
Yeah.
But I think if you're TL and you recognize this, you just try to match power now in the bot lane. Neeko, one of the unsung things about her is she gets prio in a lot of matchups. And because APA is so proficient on her, I wonder if that's just going to be the pivot. And they might just actually go Aphelios and then counterpick it, and that's what's going to happen. The Nami, and now your plan of stacking the dragons goes out the wayside. The Aatrox pick is now neutralized. Shopify have to win this by third Drake. I hate this, Bvoy. I hate it.
I mean, I'm a big fan of Aatrox in general right now. I do feel like he's quite powerful. He's getting buffs on live. I'm not sure why, because I personally think that he does snowball incredibly hard, but it is paramount that he gets a lead in the 1v1 if he wants to have any impact this game. Aphelios, Neeko, does not have enough single target damage to take out Aatrox if he gets ahead. If he stays even or goes behind, it's going to be really easy to lock him down in a Neeko ult and one-shot him. However, he can be quite a beast this game if he manages to squeeze gold leads.
The other thing for me is that Zhao, his Crescent Guard, is going to be able to defend against Lucian Nami and be able to tank for the team when other teams won't be able to. Neeko has her clone that she's able to utilize. Aphelios, one of the best stand your ground AD carries in the game, along with Kog'Maw, which FlyQuest played yesterday. And this is a stand your ground team composition. I think TL just smashed the draft. I think this is very difficult for Shopify Rebellion to play unless they pulverize, get ahead in the mid game.
I agree with you 100%. The laning phase is going to have to go swimmingly for Shopify in order for them to get a gold lead this game, because without a gold lead, I don't think any of their champions can stand their ground. One of Sion's biggest strengths is the biggest mid-game tank in the game.
Right.
So when he slams the Onslaught, his ultimate straight into Sejuani, he just wins front to back with a Lulu behind him and a Zeyzal. So they have to make sure that the Aatrox gets ahead and potentially even Lucian Nami.
The one other thing that I would mention here is obviously Team Liquid, they used to have an affinity for lane swaps. Sion, one of the best lane swap champions, and Aatrox functions way worse on lower economy than Sion does in respect to these two team comps.
I also like Team Liquid's team comp is just a lot easier to play, so I feel like they should be able to bounce back in this game.
A heavy favorite towards Team Liquid's team composition, at least on the lounge. Let's send this one straight to the casters and hear your guys' thoughts.
I'm with you. I think TL cooked in this draft. I mean, I just am looking at how the comps have to play out. You have short-range AD, you have this Aatrox, as well as the Sejuani that are trying to dive through and get on this Aphelios, and you're trying to do it through a Zeyzal, through a Pop Blossom, through a Sion. If you're not way ahead, I just can't really see it working out.
Yeah, TL really, I think did a great job with this draft. I also think it did seem like Shopify were really tunneling a little bit on that Neeko going bot lane, whereas I would have expected the Neeko to be going mid for TL specifically because APA is such a specialist on that champ. And Jatt, you had called even well before it was locked in. You know how CoreJJ thinks.
Yeah.
4-5, this is a hyper carry and an enchanter.
It's a good Aphelios Lulu angle. Whenever you have frontline on both sides, if you have the ability to secure more backline damage and the other team has a hard time getting threat onto the Aphelios, it's an incredible angle for a hyper carry. And I know Yeon is just really comfortable on Aphelios. Some teams would go Jinx here, but I feel like if you have mastery over Aphelios, it can be stronger.
Yep, we'll
Absolutely agree, but we have Kangas standing by with Revan. So let's hear what he thinks about the draft.
Thank you very much. Revan, your thoughts on the draft first coming out here. Are you happy with what you're able to put together?
Yeah, I think our players are confident playing these individual champs, how to play them. And yeah, we're pretty confident in this draft.
I got to ask, because it feels like a good start to the series, obviously, but Shopify, something's magical is happening over there. Where do you credit the spark on the team right now?
I would say first and foremost, Demonte, because not only does he uplift the team, the players, but he also uplifts me and influences me a lot in how I operate. So yeah, I would say him.
Okay, fair enough. Well, you've had some great reactions so far, so actually I want to do something. I've never been able to do this before, but you did air guitar last time. Do you think you could do that again with me right now?
Sure, why not?
All right, that's it from us. Back to the casters.
I like how Kangas just can't do that bald. You know,
yeah,
you have to have
he's got to
hair.
have the mullet.
The hair makes it. Well played.
I like what Revan said there, and it helps explain why you end up seeing some of these drafts that look on paper to be favored towards one team, because a lot of times you are just picking for what you favor in the matchup, and understandably, the Orianna will outrange the Neeko in lane. the Aatrox can get pushed on Sion, and the Lucian and Nami can get pushed. So they have tools to get leads in this game.
They are looking potentially here for a gank. We'll see if APA can connect with Tangle Barbs. He cannot. Now Contractz is here. As this mid lane getting a bit spicy there for APA. These two guys have been going back and forth at each other, though, for quite a long time. And when APA first came into League, you'll think back, it was Palafox absolutely running that matchup. He would win both sides of the same matchup. He would slam them across the board. But as time went on, the shoe is on the other foot. It has been, Palafox has been taking the bad end of it. Of course,
5-0.
He did win game 1, so now he's on the board. Did get that win. But things have just really changed. APA has been able to develop, definitely deserves credit because Palafox just absolutely dominated him when he first came in.
It is a real circle of life situation. It's just you're always someone's father or son, just perpetually.
Oh, man. Well, does this game decide who's like the current father and son?
It's going to keep cycling. I mean, if we really are on...
So whoever wins is the father.
Yes. It's the
And
Palafather.
whoever loses is the son.
Palafather game 1. We'll see if always parenting ahead wins game 2. Bot lane, going to be some back and forth trading here. Of course, when you are playing Lucian Nami, if you can get some of these nice little even trades, you can win out in sustain with that Nami. As Impact here does have the push for now up on that top side. We'll see if Fudge can get something going because Aatrox is just such a different champion from ahead than from behind. You really can hit a certain point where you become kind of invincible with the amount of self-healing that you can get. As we see Yuuji pushing Contractz back here. We'll see the secure from Yuuji, so he's going to be able to steal away most of the Raptor camp there.
Yeah, really nicely done. A little setup from APA as well, as Palafox had to respond to him kind of pushing up that wave. More interesting in bot lane, I think, is the kind of Aphelios Lulu into this Lucian Nami, really, really pushing them in onto their turret.
Yeah, for sure. When you're strong at Aphelios and you have, like, for instance, Blue Gun, you're going to be able to get shoved early on the Lucian Nami. They can't really threaten kills onto you until they have 1 or 2 items on the Lucian. So if you can keep them pushed in, you can actually snowball this matchup and not let the Lucian Nami in.
And I will say, while a lot of people are, Lucian Nami haters, this is a very aggressive TP,
Fudge.
but
He's here.
Fudge,
We're
swapping it up as Lucian will be heading up towards top side.
Flash.
That's the flash off of Yeon. I want to point out that Bvoy had a very good Lucian performance against 100 Thieves. In their 3-0 sweep, he did actually play the Lucian there. A lot of people just kind of default to not believing in Lucians in this region. Yeon obviously has been very good on it. It is a bit of a takeaway from him, but Bvoy also did perform really well last week and deserves the credit because he was very aggressive on this pick and he really made it work out.
Yeah, and we'll see if this kind of little lane assignment that Shopify decided on ends up working out in their favor with that flash off of Yeon. Shopify should be able to look to make some plays potentially onto this Aphelios. So it's interesting because I thought going into this matchup, one area where I felt like TL would definitely have the advantage would be in a lot of these early lane assignments. So I'm really curious to see if Shopify can make something happen here.
Yeah, I mean, getting the flash is great, but also the Sejuani is still only level 4. You're playing Lucian Nami. You don't really have explosive engage by any means. So I do think as long as he's aware of that, they have a ward in the river here, it could be tough to punish unless they can move things around and really overload one side or he super overextends or something. But I think Yeon's just going to play defensive and probably be hard to punish just based on the comp that Shopify have.
I agree. It will prevent them from getting a lot of turret plates, and that's why Bvoy's being so aggressive as of now. But you can see it gets traded back fairly easily. CoreJJ still has the heal, so it's the amount of all-in damage they have is not necessarily high enough unless they can come for a dive. Here comes Sej.
Palafox and Contractz headed up here.
And Yeon is just already running. CoreJJ, though, is going to be left alone under the tower here. Getting a lot of damage down on the Bvoy. There's the heal going to be used. CoreJJ does pop a heal of his own and flashes out from the shockwave. Seo's tanking the tower, and now Palafox has to flash as well, as he was nervous about getting potentially locked up under the turret there. Neeko had roam to match, and that's what made him so nervous.
Yeah, just respectful play by both teams right there. CoreJJ's willing to make them all in him because they know they'd be able to trade something back. Yeon doesn't let the engage happen onto himself because he knows he doesn't have flash, so he would be able to get hit by the shockwave. Just well played all around.
Yeah, Because of that, though, it does look like the reset is going to have to come through for Shopify, which should give TL a bunch of control on this top side of the map prior to Grub spawn. So we'll see if they want to go for that next.
Yeah, and Yuuji already level 6, about a half level up on where Contractz is right now, so going to be feeling good. And at the end of the day, it was a heal and a flash for a heal and a flash. And I feel like TL's going to be pretty happy about it because you're going to value the flash on CoreJJ lower than that of the one on Palafox. So I think pretty happy about how they were able to defend it. Clearly, Shopify wanted to punish that missing flash, but not really able to do so.
Yeah, I will say, going back to even last series and game 1 of this series, Team Liquid has taken another composition that is a little bit low on agency. So they do need to just conservatively play out these lanes, make sure they have CS advantage, get early setups, and play the map rotations properly. Right now, they're actually overloading bot side. Impact is faking that he has gone back to base, but is stuck around in lane. So I think they're hoping that they get a fight here, and if not, they're probably going to go for Drake.
And it's something I always find interesting with TL, because they always talk about wanting to be this kind of more aggressive team. But I feel like when push comes to shove, they default to these slower compositions, to playing this style. This has been the TL bread and butter really since back in like 2018 even. When they started winning all these titles, it has been play around your ADC, whether it was Doublelift or now Yeon, and play these kind of scaling comps, look to win in team fights.
Yeah, I mean, in defense of recent TL, I feel like there was a point in time where they continuously went up against FlyQuest and 100 Thieves, I believe, and had some insane combined kills per minute coming outside of those. But in this setup, again, I really do like this coming out of TL, right? Like moving around the map, keeping Shopify having to respond to what they're doing because they had that top side control. Again, overloading bot side. It's in these small lane assignments where, to repeat, I did think TL would have the advantage. And thus far in this game, it's looking really good. As Yuuji's going on to Contractz.
Very aggressive. But they have the push bot lane as well. Just kind of burn a flash in mid lane as well. I'd say Yeon, he's playing fine, but he's probably a little annoyed that his CS is so low. He did end up losing that whole wave top lane, then they swapped down. They spent a bunch of time on Dragon. He lost another wave, so he is not accelerated on this Aphelios.
Does land the Tangle Barb. They're going to actually flash this. They're looking. Can the Pop Blossom connect? Yes, just the very edge of it. Wow. Palafox gets knocked down. TL, knowing their limits well, get first blood.
And that is champion mastery. That is APA knowing exactly how close he needs to be to land the very edge.
Coming out here, CoreJJ, no summoners, but it doesn't look like the damage will continue. Should be fine to back off.
Yeah, not even close in that situation. They get 2 ultimates and will continue to push, but that was Shopify trying to keep them off the wave since it's a little bit pushing away from Team Liquid and just slowly trying to deny Yeon as much CS as possible compared to last game where he was well over 10 CS per minute. He's at about 7 CS per minute right now, which is way below his normal.
Yeah, we'll see what Shopify's response is. It looks like they could potentially be making a move for the Grubs after Contractz. Yeah, he's going to head up topside. Again, really nicely done from TL, the punish coming through in the mid lane and also getting impact in here, right? Like they talked in draft about how the Gwen pick essentially means that impact is going to be going for something like the Sion. I actually thought his Sion was great even in the loss they had last week, I believe.
Oh, they're going to heal from speed, getting a bit aggressive there, and Shopify does get nervous, uses a heal of their own defensively. Zeus, though, maybe has to flash, and maybe it's too late. He flashes to follow. Yeon knocks him down. Might be low on CS, but he's got a kill.
Yuuji's here.
Yeah, Yuuji is here, and now Bvoy has to cancel the base. This is problematic. They do have teleports available to try to come in and potentially save him if they want to go for it. There is low mana here on Yeon, but they're going to interrupt him again. I think they're just giving him up. No way that Bvoy can get out of here. It's just going to be tanked up by Yuuji. They give the second kill to Yeon. They farm the plates, and their hyper carry is off to the races.
Yeon is now very happy.
Yes.
But that's from his own doing. They knew that they had a kill angle. Healing early because he knew he had the root gun up into the alt root as well to get just enough damage down onto Seos for this kill. They knew they'd burned the Nami ult and the Lucian ult earlier, so they are just so comfortable in this Aphelios Lulu combo. They played it in Game 4 in the last series. The narrow sidestep on the bubble allows them to get very aggressive and just combo this together perfectly. He just run out of ammo, so he just enabled purple gun, flashes forward with white gun, and gets the kill.
Yeah, and then we see Yuuji kind of wrapping around the backside of that, ends up being able to get the additional kill for the feats of warfare. Really, really nicely done. And you see TL working around, like, Aphelios used to be, before Yeon was known for being one of the best carries in the LCS/LTA North, used to be one of his specialty picks, right? This Neeko, which we've also seen them play around, one of APA's specialty picks. So not only is it just a really good draft, but it plays to TL-specific player strengths.
And I want to check in on Yeon's first item. It's going to be a Bloodthirster Rush, which is something that has been gaining some popularity on Aphelios. Obviously, it's really meta on MF, has been for ages, but people have been experimenting this on a number of different champs against champions that are poke reliant. So Lucian, Nami do not 100-0 you. They whittle you down with these little short trades over and over and over. Bloodthirster completely mitigates that. So now, you have to look for Core, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Great sidestep by Yeon on the Glacial Prison. Pops the ulti, trying to turn around on Bvoy, but Core is low. Core is in trouble. He's knocked down here by Fudge. Fudge arrives with a pop. Awesome has come in, and it is damn awesome. Yuuji knocks Fudge back into the tower, but does not have enough to knock him down. But here comes Impact. Right now, it is just 1 kill to the 2 that Shopify got. Everyone shows up except for Palafox, who's farming plates in top lane. So that's another good play for Shopify.
That's an exceptional play from Shopify, shutting Yeon down when he was feeling so confident. And you could see why he was feeling so confident. He had the Bloodthirster, he had Red Gun, he had Barrier. Like, he really thought that he was going to be able to manipulate his health bar, get him about 800 to 1,000 extra health. But his position was so poor there, as Shopify can throw everything at him at once. So watch this one more time. Even though they missed their original engage, they can still get him there for so much damage from Bvoy and Contractz, and then Fudge comes in on the back end to actually finish the job. Beautiful collapse there by Shopify.
Yep, and even though Bvoy does end up going down on the back half of that, they still get pressure topside, more gold onto Palafox, and they also were able to push out that bot side as TL is now on to this Drake off of reset.
Maybe trying to rush it. I don't think they can really burst this if Shopify showed, but the control ward means Shopify's not going to go for it at the moment. Just get some push mid. Nice take.
Grab it. Looks like they'll just be heading down towards bot lane, try to put some more pressure here onto Fudge as APA and Yuuji are wrapping around. But Shopify is coming. They could be out of position. There's the Tangle Barbs. And are they going to be able to knock down Fudge? Flash over the wall. Going to be traded as Contractz and Yuuji just swap places there. Now you see him, now you don't, man. Just back over the wall.
Sure.
That was a fun one.
Sure.
That was a fun one.
Yeah, just like... Whoop.
That was a fun one. You know what else would be fun? Watching some League of Legends with your friends at a watch party here for LTA Finals.
Agreed.
All the tickets are sold out for here in LA. But if you're elsewhere, check out the QR code on screen. Regal has select theaters around the US. You can get your tickets now. Show up to the watch party. Should be a blast. They're even giving away some skins and things like that, so it should be really cool.
See if one of these teams makes another lower bracket run. They'd have to win this and then beat C9 on Saturday as well.
And if they lose, they could go to a watch party too.
They could.
They could buy some tickets.
They're not
gonna,
maybe just in case, get your tickets.
That theoretically could happen.
Oh, emotional hedging, just like Impact predicting Shopify in the series. Well, if we lose, at least we have a nice watch party to go to.
At least we can go to Regal. No problem. Get yourself some nice popcorn, work through that trauma. Oh, man, it should be fun. But Yeon here now, you can see he's also backed up by the Mikhails from CoreJJ, which I love the Mikhails rush. Any team that is relying on a Sejuani to start fights out, it's just such a good answer. It makes it really tough there. You can see Bvoy going in. Does proc the Electrocute. Barely broke through the BT shield plus the Lulu shield there. So really troublesome to get that done. But now Yuuji in some trouble here. Has no flash. Remember they traded earlier. Fudge has arrived, but so has Impact. Impact trying to back him up, but a great sidestep on the side. Over on the other side, it's APA knocking down Bvoy with a fantastic Pop Blossom. Impact trying to get out. Does flash back to safety. And now it's TL that are looking for more. The Shockwave lands, but it's only on Impact, and that guy does not take damage.
I think TL takes those. They kill Bvoy. Yeon's able to get pushed on this wave unless this extended fight is able to be won by Shopify, but they have no Orianna ult. And Team Liquid's still just trying to push them off this mid-wave.
We'll see if they can do it. I mean, Yeon, pretty confident, has his summoners back, is going to get hit by the Infernal Chains, but will just walk it off. Shopify, without their ultimates, know they can't actually win an extended fight here against Yeon when he has the summoners and he has Core behind him with ulti and Mikhail.
Yeah, Yeon is playing so far forward, playing with so much confidence, and is only going to be getting stronger as this game continues on.
Yeah, and by contrast, they've been able to get on Bvoy pretty easily, right? Like, he has been trying to get into these fights. We talked about how comfortable he is with this Lucian, but Contractz recognizes he can land this onto Yuuji. They do end up killing him, but on the backside of this fight, Bvoy's all alone, and APA immediately recognizes that. Pop Blossom, he absolutely explodes.
Kind of gets caught between plays there. You know, in a perfect world, Bvoy just runs away, but because the fight was happening in River, he was thinking about joining, and it let APA sneak up on him once again.
And you can see Impact has gone for Sunfire here. You know, Bvoy, I know, is a big fan of the more the Bruiser-style builds of going Titanic and Sterix and things like that on the Sion. So it'll be interesting to hear how he feels about it in this game. But Impact very, very tanky. You can say that much to be sure after that fight.
APA was a cannon minion, snuck up on Bvoy. Cannon minion came from River. Very obvious. Apparently not obvious. Not obvious enough.
Oh, Neeko is so annoying.
AD carries just think it's their lucky day.
Yeah, another cannon. Oh, no.
2 cannons for me? Don't mind if I do. All right, well, TL now quietly has been stacking these dragons. Shockwave going to whiff. A nice proto belt there, gets him to safety. CoreJJ, again, he's kind of become the main target in this 2v2. You need to chunk him down because everything is going to be shrugged off by Yeon. The culling kind of splitting damage between them as Yuuji is already on the Herald.
You can see the game plan from Team Liquid, though. They don't care. Culling is gone. The red gun has the overshield. The Bloodthirster has the overshield. They have heal and barrier up. I mean, if you were to actually do some math, that 1500 health bar is going to turn to be much, much larger. The shield can be up to 195. The barrier can be 291. CoreJJ can put about 500-600 health of shields into him. Not to mention red alt, if he has it, is going to be another counter heal. He's a tank. He's one of the tankiest members outside of Impact in this entire game.
Yeah, and they're kind of winning all over the map, right? Like, Impact is dirty farming up here. In Fudge's face, TL were able to claim that Rift Herald. My expectation is that they're probably just going to end up dropping it mid lane, rotating to get this next Drake. Impact is going on a journey to continue dirty farming.
I mean, honestly, like when you know Orianna's on the bot side, no one else is going to really hurt you.
Yep.
Like, it's honestly a waste of time to try to kill off Impact in that situation. He's drawing pressure. He takes down the wave, so then he goes back towards mid lane. Now there's no answer of a push from top side for Fudge because he's got no minions.
And the timing is perfect because Drake is up as well. So they're probably going to give up this top turret, but they get mid turret and Drake in return.
Yeon gets knocked out of it in a bad spot. He's going to get knocked up by the Nami ult as well, but they don't have the damage to turn around on him as Impact just ults in. APA is here, looking for the pop blossom, gets 2, knocks him low. Can he finish him off? Gets Seos, might be traded back. Bvoy gets 1. Fudge now in the back line with Palafox. It's the flanking solo laners. Yeon has got to get out of there, but it's Yuuji right now that is in trouble, and Yeon is firing over the wall, keeping Yuuji safe. Bvoy very low, trying to stay involved here, but he is just on a sliver of health right now.
It turned into such an awkward fight. APA didn't quite have the damage to burst everyone, so he followed a bit too far through, and Yeon got caught.
Oh, Shockwave gonna have to be
There's no vision,
away.
But they want to stop this because they know Shopify is kind of low.
I mean, this is risky. Course is still just walking forward now. He used both his summoners there to get out. They are going to TP Impact down, and he's going to be able to walk in and get vision of this. It will be too little, it will be too late, but can they win the fight? Palafox, though, great chunk on Yeon. I think that's going to dissuade anything more. Impact now is in the middle of 5, and the question is, are you tanky enough for that? The answer is a resounding no as he flashes out to safety. The McHale's has to be used as well. TL getting cooked there as they tried to walk in without vision.
Really good overall play there by Shopify, and that fight was won with Fog of War and Orianna. Because anytime TL was trying to retake the area, they'd get poked by Palafox, and it made it so Yeon couldn't approach. But this is the fight that precluded that sequence.
Yeah, it starts by Shopify being able to kind of get on to Yeon. TL were looking to push up in this mid lane, then potentially roam to Drake. APA goes so far here, and see where Yeon is. He's all the way back here. He's not able to get in, so Bvoy finishes off APA. And then Shopify basically are just able to end up getting control off of this fight. We'll see.
Yeah, I kind of feel like Yeon could have moved right in that fight and potentially saved APA, but they had a bit of a split call. I think Yeon wanted to go down and fight the Aatrox, but APA wanted to move forward. I think if they were all on the same page, that could have been a one-sided fight for TL.
And we've talked about how much damage this Lucian can potentially do. The Orianna damage coming through is actually huge, and also for...
APA looking, the flashes are traded, but it doesn't matter. He catches him with the very edge of it, nails the tangle barbs, locks him up, knocks him down. TL, another good play on the top side. That one hurts for Palafox as you traded your flash, but you go down anyway.
It really is, because I was just about to praise Palafox for the way that they used the Orianna ball, right? So that was a little bit of a curse, because I think the threat of Orianna is just as important as her being able to get off that juicy shockwave.
And as much as we've talked about the positives of Bloodthirster, which is going to be shrugging off a lot of the poke like that, on one item, your DPS is way lower than a lot of the other build paths, and that is going to be a potential issue for him when he's having to work through the Aatrox, having to work through Contractz and Sejuani, who's on 2 full items. Like, this is a real tanky Sejuani. Even the Aatrox went Sterix, so he's not building just for that side lane. He's relatively tanky himself. He's going to have a lot of lifesteal as well. And their only healing debuff is a Bramble Vest. So Fudge is not going to be auto-attacking the Sion during the team fight. You're not going to have that applied. So Yeon, his build is slowed down. There is a downside to this. Of course, it's great to have that lifesteal, but lower DPS is great.
Yeah, big power trough now, especially without even completing a second item. He's sitting on about 1,200 gold right now. Looks like he's going Collector second, which is acceptable on Aphelios because you can skill lethality, so you actually get a little bit more damage on the squishy targets. But because he's in that power trough, Shopify just knows it's auto count clock.
They knew that APA was topside, and APA doesn't have his TP yet. It's still on cooldown, so they're just trying to rush this. And I think TL have just realized, you know what, we're out of position. We may just have to give it. Now they're trying to get in here, but APA is not going to be involved. The Otacon down to 3,000 HP. Impact is looking for Fudge, but Shopify is looking for the Otacon, and they have got it. Even if you have to give up Fudge, it's fine. They just need to run because APA is on the hunt now. It looks like Shopify will be able to just walk it out.
Really nice play. APA doesn't even have time to get a bunch of mid-turret damage because all those minions just died. So that is the perfect heist by Shopify.
Yeah, really nicely done for them trying to find the window. It looks like they might even be looking for a pick as TL are backing. But yeah, also, Jatt, you talked about how on their board, right, they had written down, like, don't do Otacon unless you pushed out the wave.
Yep.
Technically, Fudge did push up that wave.
He did. That was the correct Otacon. 2 for 2 there for Shopify so far.
And APA had just barely a little bit of time on his teleport cooldown. So you have to think people are tracking that. He has 4 kills. He is incredibly strong. Without him being there wasn't a tremendous amount of threat. But, of course, Ocean Soul is that looming threat here. Shopify did delay it. They took that 3rd dragon. TL, though, on 2 dragons. And when you have a Sion, if you get Ocean Soul, it is pretty much impossible to kill that guy. So both teams really going to have their eyes on this next dragon. As you can see, Impact is confident, just continue trading autos, and there's the TP now used on top side just to try to get out of there, as Yuuji's going to be chasing him down, and the APA is behind him. Fudge is dead to rights. APA grabs his 5th kill of the game.
APA, such a factor in this game. That was really created, though, by Impact and Yuuji. The teleport expended for that kill. Maybe it can give them some position on this next Drake to put him on Soul Point.
Should be. I mean, Fudge has no TP, right? So even though he's going to be respawning 10 seconds after, if you have no teleport, you're not going to get there until the dragon should already be done.
Yeah, and they're doing such a good job of... We talked about how APA not being able to join that Otacon fight ended up giving it for Shopify. As soon as he is able to make a play, they're sending him around the map to get these picks.
Well, and it was really nice because it was kind of doubly effective where it let him get out away from a gank, and now they're looking for Bvoy here. Seo's going to be the target as he dashes over the wall. In goes Yuuji onto Bvoy. Bvoy in a lot of trouble. The Nami comes out to peel as Impact creating space here for Yeon. Yeon is just pumping out the damage, but it's not enough to kill off Contractz. They do get the flash off both him and Bvoy, though, and the heal from Seos.
How much time did Shopify buy, though? Because Fudge is actually back on the map and Drake is still there, so the 4v5 is no longer an option. The ultimate from APA will be back shortly, and Team Liquid's going to just set up this Drake and maybe look for another fight if Shopify comes in.
Yeah, Yuuji starting it over the wall here. There is a ward in the pit, though, from Shopify, so they will have the information that they need. The question is, does Shopify think they can actually get into fight? Looks like the answer is no.
Yeah.
I mean, no ults on most of their members. They just have that shockwave. Fudge sticking around to see, okay, is there something here? But clearly the rest of the team is not posturing for it.
Yeah, TL just playing really well around their pressure. I do want to point out this mid lane discrepancy. This is why I fully expected that Neeko to be going mid. They've done a really good job outside of that one fight where APA was a little too far ahead of his team, being able to set up plays with that Pop Blossom. And kind of the threat of the Pop Blossom. Pop Blossom works not necessarily similar to Orianna Ball, but like you always have to keep it in your mind.
You are the Orianna Ball.
Yeah, exactly. You're going in and you're crushing people.
But I will say, even though Palafox is behind, he's not nearly as behind as he has been in some of these games. In fact, these are the largest mid laner CS deficits in wins all time. So he was, I think, about 10th or 11th. The only person with multiple ahead of him is actually his coach now. So like Demonte.
The vibes king.
Exactly. Doesn't matter. CS is fake news. You can be down 150 CS and still win the game.
I did do some investigating of my own for that. I was really curious about the Bjergsen one. That was when he was on 100 Thieves against TSM Maple, who was on Aurelion Soul and was just collecting 3 waves for like a 55-minute game. So some of these are really fake news, but I would say the Palafox one was legit. They were down like early in the game.
And he had a Xerath game, Xerath game and the Annie game that were both, over 100 CS down, but now we're looking for an engage here. Contractz has got to get out of there, but he doesn't have his Arctic Assault ready until just now. Now over the wall, Yuuji taking some damage from Bvoy. And yeah, sometimes it is just about knowing your role. If you're behind, it is a skill to get carried, unironically. To be able to say, okay, how do I contribute to this game in the best way, even though I'm behind? How do I still make an impact? How do I make sure that I'm not the reason that we are going to lose this game?
And in this case for Palafox, 1 is to try to avoid deaths on side lanes, but 2, in team fights, keep the ball around the Aphelios, because the Aphelios is always going to want to step up, and you need to be ready to press R and get him off that spot. That's his #1 job in this game.
Yeah, he can do so much with just playing with Fog and positioning that Orianna ball. Again, the threat of Shockwave is still really, really big.
It is, and I mean, he's still on 2 items here, so it's not like he's that weak, and he is coming up on level 16. Yes, APA is very far ahead, but it's more because APA has picked up 1 million kills than it is about Palafox, not getting farm or anything. They're dead even as far as farm is concerned, so still in a pretty good spot here, and especially with the bursty items that he's gone for. I mean, Luden's Storm Surge plus Sork Boots, that is a ton of damage. He's targeting the squishies. He knows it's not going to be up to him necessarily to kill Impact. But it also means that between this Rapid Fire Lucian and this kind of squishy killer build here on the Orianna, they don't have a ton of tank DPS against the Sion.
Yeah, and 3 full items on the Lucian. I always find it interesting, these Lucian builds, because none of the Lucians upgrade their boots and they always go free boots. So even though he's like down in gold by a little bit, he's always the first to the next major item completion. So he's he's able to stay in the game because of Lucian's unique build paths.
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's been playing it pretty well. That early BT, I thought he was going to lose so much effectiveness, but Bvoy is still playing towards those win conditions. Of course, he's playing Electrocute, doesn't scale as well as PTA, things like that, but has to continue staying aggressive. There's no fallback plan for Lucian. You keep playing the same way. You have to play in their face, but Impact trying to punish him as he dash forward. Great dash to the side, though. Does avoid it. Seoul does not. In comes the Sejuani ult, but it does not connect, but the Culling gets Sion incredibly low, and on the side, APA gets chunked out. APA is on the run, and now so is Impact, as the other solo laner's already gone, and Impact's about to fall. He gets shut down by Bvoy. TL tried to pull the trigger on it, but with APA getting pushed out on the side by Palafox, Impact had no backup.
And that seems like such a weird overforce from TL to, they recognize that they can potentially get on to Bvoy. Shopify end up playing it really, really well. And like you said, getting zoned off of the side. Palafox kind of marking APA so he can't get in, and they cannot finish off the kill.
Yeah, it was great. It was great team fighting.
I got to give credit to Palafox in that fight. I understand why Impact would go for the flashless players, and also because Team Liquid, aside from sneaky clone plays from APA, don't have that many trigger pulls. So they think, hey, if we get this, we can blow the game open, maybe go for Baron. They know for sure Seos has no flash, so that's why Impact decides to shift into him. But Palafox can't make it in from the side, and watch Yeon getting chunked here by the Culling, can't follow up.
Yeah, big thing, Yeon having to eat all that Culling, and then Fudge coming in on the backside of that fight. Kill ends up, and Shutdown actually ends up going to Bvoy as well, which is great for Shopify.
They're looking to position aggressively. Look at Palafox over the wall here. Can he find an angle? If they go too far to the right, they could be in trouble. Palafox uses the same positioning defensively on his side, was playing in that Raptor pit, but we see APA is pushing top lane, trying to threaten that tier 2.
Yeah, I also think the Team Liquid's going to threaten Baron instead of Soul right now, because they're not prioritizing getting the mid push. They're prioritizing prepping the top side of the map. So if Shopify moves towards Drake, I could see Team Liquid trying to burst down the Baron with the Aphelios.
Yeah, and I think that's a really nice call, right? They are in the driver's seat with this Drake stacking, as Fudge is actually going to start it up himself. And APA is still pushing on this top side.
Oh, Bvoy getting aggressive here. Does chunk Yeon low.
Damage.
APA had still been pushing, but Palafox is back to base. He's going to try to flash on him. They trade flashes here, but it's APA who's losing out big time. He did land the Tangle Barbs. He jukes him out with the clone. He broke his ankles with the clone. But can he even get out? In comes the redemption offensively. They will shut him down. At the end of the day, it's a nice play from APA to delay it, but he still dies. They lose the Dragon, and now Shopify, they could maybe be the ones to go for more.
That's win upon win for Shopify. They get the Drake, they get the bounty, and now they get control of Baron as well.
Really, really nice response from Shopify, recognizing they can just put Fudge on that Drake with the team fight starting. And again, shout out to Palafox, constantly responding to APA,
This ain't
marking
over.
him, and now Shopify are on the Baron.
Yep, and TL knows that APA does have death cap. He's up in 20, but they'd have to buy a lot of time here. Palafox, no shockwave, no flash. Remember that. Fudge, though, on a good flank angle. If they commit, it's going to be really tough for Yeon. The engage comes in, but it is on impact. It's going to be McHale's, and he pops the LT, gets out to safety.
Okay.
Great play there from TL in the 4v5 to hang on and deny any Baron.
Impact buys enough space to prevent the Baron with a good use of his ultimate. But getting back to that play in particular, it is so clutch by APA and also, so clutch by Palafox as APA was trying to make the outplay, but just gets a little bit spaced right here. The Orianna does outrange him. So right here, you can see the ult starts, and he just flashed it at the very last second. Something looked a little funny with the flash protobelt to not get in range there by APA.
I think the protobelt kind of bumped him into the wall, and he didn't get full distance. But we've seen that play multiple times where APA traded flash, but always connected on him. This is the first time Palafox had the spacing, like you said.
Yeah, and then he does end up getting the shutdown a little bit, juked out a little bit by APA's clone. Nice usage
That's a
there
Neeko player, you can tell.
And I'm looking a full item up by Bvoy's Lucian. He's really been able to keep Yeon out of these fights. So Yeon hasn't been able to have this kind of front-to-back setup because I'd say a lot of it has been Team Liquid trying to engage and Shopify zoning them out with their range rather than Shopify diving in.
Oh, big chunk there. Bvoy is going to get engaged on by Impact, but can he find more? Doesn't connect onto him. Yeon has to get ulted up, but it's a massive Pop Blossom, and it's APA making the difference here. Fudge getting targeted, but he gets flashed in and just takes out APA. Impact now getting focused down here. Palafox still doing the damage. It's up to the Seoul laners, but on the other side, it is Yeon still alive, and it's TL moving up towards Baron. They know they have much more sustained DPS with APA being traded for Bvoy. Contractz now trying to find an angle here. They don't have to rush it. The Baron will go down relatively slowly. Still 10,000 HP. Fudge gets vision on it. Contractz going in onto Yuuji, trying to put the pressure on, and the bubble does connect as well. But Yuuji's going to flash in. He's going to go for Palafox, but he can't get much there. And now Yeon is starting to whittle down on this Baron here. It's down to 4,000 HP. Fudge is behind him. Does connect the Infernal Chains, but Yeon is just going to flash on his face. The Q3 connects. The McHale comes out. Yeon is standing. Yeon is fighting. Yeon is living, but not for long as Contractz knocks him down. It's up to Yuuji and Impact and CoreJJ, though, and they get the work done. Yeon hangs on for just barely long enough to claim the win for his team.
Never stop fighting, which is kind of the name of this game. They're back on the Baron. APA is here, and Bvoy might want to stop it, but it seems so hard in a 2v4.
Yeah, we'll see if he can find an angle to do anything. I mean, you have no jungler. It feels like you have no chance, so Bvoy not going to risk it. TL, at the end of the day, claim the Baron. That was a crazy sequence.
This is fun. This is a fun game.
It's a good time.
So I hope we get to see the start of this.
Yeah,
okay, this is the Baron. I'll talk about the engage earlier, but everyone wants to get onto Yeon. I'd say white-green is also an insane combo if he's able to get melee. The polymorph is super clutch to prevent the damage from Fudge, and because he just gets those extra 3 or 4 seconds, it also means that, like, Yuuji still does a lot of damage on the Xin, and since everyone was committed onto the Aphelios, the rest of Team Liquid could still clean up.
Massive polymorph coming in for Core to really get a little bit of extra damage in. As we see Revan not happy about that one.
Little Spawn cosplay there from Revan.
The original engage was APA disguising himself as a minion at the front of a wave. So he was the 4th melee minion that got that original engage onto Bvoy.
You know.
It fooled him. It got him the perfect engage.
Yep, found it really, really well. I mean, it can be honestly hard keeping track of all the minions throughout the entire game. You're thinking about so many different things, and you have to be counting minions on every single wave. And sometimes waves can be stacked. It can get a little bit funky. Bvoy here, though, is level 16 now, has been quite strong, and Yeon still trying to get toward that IE. That is where he will spike massively.
Yep.
We can see GA, though, ready for Yuuji, which is going to be big for this potential fight. Yeon just trying to keep them off the wave. They're trying to keep it alive.
It's really hard for TL to actually move into this zone because they have no vision. So that's why they're trying to hold on this mid wave. Like maybe Team Liquid would just take the extra gold. Someone from Shopify could be on the Drake right now.
And look at top wave right now. It's pushing heavily here for TL. Is someone going to go up there and meet it? The dragon just about to spawn here. Now it is up. TL say, you can have the dragon. You take that Soul point. We are going to take even more here. They're going to take down the tier 2. They will get at least one inhibitor. You have to think. The question is, how much more will they be able to get? They're going to grab the inhibitor tower. They are going to grab the inhibitor.
Rotate
and then they're going to move
side.
top. Exactly.
Yeah, really nicely done from TL. Again, I did, even though Shopify earlier were able to kind of break their setup that they had with Drake and Baron, this is, again, a really nice usage of that Drake stacking. Now both teams are on Soul Point, and they are still going to be able to push into this top side.
This is strange, though. Yeon is sitting on enough gold for IE. They're seeing if they can get some free damage, but I feel like this is a very high-risk play. They need to just go back to base, spend that gold, and redeploy on the map, because I like the call of getting the extra gold on Team Liquid. I don't necessarily like this call of sticking around with the last 30 seconds of this Baron.
Well, we'll see if Shopify can find an angle to punish, but it looks like
Yeah.
TL just wanted to get one more wave. We'll be able to base here, but Yeon doesn't have Baron recall, so he actually does have to cancel that and will be backing it up a bit. Has to play safe, knowing that Shopify could go for a long chase, and you don't want to leave Yeon behind, who has the much slower recall.
Yep, and as the map resets, we'll see Shopify trying to kind of push out, mitigate the damage on this top side. I mean, it's now going to be really, really difficult for them, as we kind of talked about how these compositions works. And again, how well Impact additionally has been able to frontline for this team.
Absolutely. And Yeon now finally does have that IE that you talked about, Jatt. 38 minutes into the game to get the IE. It was very heavily delayed, obviously, by this different build that he went for with the early BT. But now he is online. Now you have the death cap on your mid laner, the IE on your bot laner. You are incredibly strong. Fudge trying to find APA here, but APA going to be able to scout him out with the clone, as Impact's just going to escort these super minions in through mid, as Yeon is going to grab the red buff. They're going to look for it again. APA does get connected in onto, and APA is just going to get burst down. Cannot get away. The clone was not able to block the ulti or dodge it, and APA goes down in a hurry. That is a 60-second respawn timer.
Just greedy there by APA, trying to catch a wave really far up on the map. There's no Baron, there's no Drake. That was just not going to gain him anything, but instead will also not lose a huge amount. It's just the gold going over. But it does cut into their lead, since this game is going to be coming down to this next sequence with Baron up in 2 minutes and the Ocean Soul up in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, Ocean Soul is going to be massive, and we'll see if Shopify can at least potentially push down on the spot side, get a tiny bit of vision down, reset their waves.
Impact now has the Jack show as well, so we'll be amplifying all of the additional MR and armor that he already has. You can see the Soul Furnace passive, 1500 bonus HP for him, so he is getting really tanky at this point in the game. And I already touched on that GA that is still available for Yuuji, so it is going to be a very explosive fight in the next one. Everyone's got their summoners. Everyone's got their ultis. They are looking for Yeon to get chunked down here. Core in a lot of trouble. Does hold his nerve. Does not use the ulti or the heal, but we'll have to go back to base.
But Lucian Nami is scaling. They're like, we're taking the mid wave at this stage in the game every time we have culling, because the cooldown of it is very low, as long as Bvoy is respecting those minions.
Yep, and is going to be able to do it. I mean, Lucian can do a lot of damage late game. It's just always the question of, can you do a lot of damage without mispositioning and dying? And it's really difficult to walk that line.
Absolutely, and I love how close these teams are as well. I also looked at their win rate throughout this entire split, and this is another reason that I feel like Shopify is so hard to track, because while they've been improving in the way their games look, their overall win rate has really not been that good. It's about a 40% win rate throughout the entire year. Team Liquid's been around 60. Shopify still actually sub 50% win rate, but have a chance to be going to championship weekend if they're able to win this series. So both of these teams, to me, just committed to the process, and they've been able to get better, even if they're not necessarily winning more games yet. And now they're posturing over this Baron.
Yep, Yuuji just getting a little bit of damage down, but you can see Fudge pushing the tier 2 bot. Will be a nice injection of gold for him, as he has that last Whisper, so likely to be working towards that Cyrilda's for himself. and is going to be good for him, obviously, against this very tanky Sion, but not really the target you want to be hitting regardless.
Yeah, I'm just getting some additional map pressure to hopefully... They have good Baron vision, so...
I mean, Shopify has better pressure. They have the deep push bottom lane from the Aatrox. The Lucian Nami has been able to control the mid wave for the most part. So Team Liquid, their weakness here is if they walk into an Orianna ball, and Bvoy, as you just point out there, has the GA now.
Yeah, has the GA. Elected to go for that over the BT, so we'll see if it pays off.
Which is huge, because I do think it is a lot easier, as we've seen, for TL to get kind of on top of Bvoy than for Shopify to be able to get on top of Yeon, especially with this incredibly beefy Sion in front of him. And
well, they're looking like TL want to engage here. They're going to pop. Oh, the pop-up's going to get stunned on a great ult from Contractz. And if he just gets deleted, Contractz outplays him. But he does give up his own life in exchange. And now they have the jungle advantage here, and they could look for a potential soul. Impact's going to get McHale's there by CoreJJ. He's got to kite back as Fudge is looking for more. Bvoy dashes forward very aggressively. Yeon gets connected on by Fudge. They want more. The flash is going to be forced there by the Impact. Fudge's ult does expire though. Yeon fighting. Yeon gets knocked up. Yuuji going back in. Yeon is incredibly low. He can't rejoin the fight. And Yuuji's in trouble. He has the GA, but is it just going to be for a second death? Bvoy dashes in on CoreJJ. Yuuji gets wild growth, but Fudge flashes in and smacks him into the ground. It's going to be the Ocean Soul. 4 straight dragons for Shopify.
This game is getting increasingly lethal. What a clutch fire out by Contractz on that Sejuani ultimate completely saves the game.
that was absolutely massive from Contractz, being able to stop that Pop Blossom from coming in from APA. APA immediately gets blown up, and it was risky because he does trade his life for it, as we see here. Contractz, and then just watch APA approaching. Bam! Sejuani, perfectly timed. Really, really nicely done from Contractz. This is what keeps Shopify in this, and then they're able to kind of absorb and
we're back to live and we're back to fighting. We gotta. Okay, looks like it's just on impact. It's gonna be okay.
And watch Bvoy at the end of that fight as
but
well.
they're going in. Bvoy dashing over the wall, and Yeon is in trouble. He's got to actually get out of there. Yeon taking a lot of damage from the culling. Will survive, but he needs something to actually lifesteal off. He's going back to the Raptors. Will Shopify have the confidence to just start Baron?
Bvoy's really popping off. Seo's empowering him with that Nami as well. And Palafox, I'd say, even though he was behind in this game, is doing so much work in these team fights, stopping Yeon from being able to step up properly.
He absolutely is.
Another thing in that last fight, I know we're not going to see it in the replay, the Zonias from Palafox after Yeon had ulted him, he was one shot away from killing him because he had the super long shot sniper rifle, would have one-tapped him. He stopwatched it perfectly.
I mean, one of the most costly things is you lose the GA as well in that last fight from Yuuji, so that will not be available. Of course, Bvoy still has his.
Fudge looking for
and they have that Ocean Soul. Fudge going to be incredibly hard to knock down, as his Contractz in these extended fights with the Ocean Soul, augmenting them. And we always talk about it, when you get Ocean Soul, you can do Baron infinitely. You can just tank that up. You're not going to take any damage. So the risk of starting it is that much lower. Fudge does have a good potential flank here, but it's Impact moving in, trying to check out that brush. Is going to be okay. That was the shockwave used there by Palafox. Yeah. He did get the flash off of Yeon, so that is big. We'll see if they can actually punish here. Impact, again, trying to create space, but they just can't get any vision. And every time they step forward, it feels like they're losing out more and more.
And it's about a 1 minute cooldown on that shockwave, so not huge, and no flash on Yeon does enable them to get on top of him later.
Fudge is coming behind them. I think they're going to go right now. Contractz drops the ult onto Impact, and Impact is not looking that tanky. Will have to ult out to safety as Yeon is trying to chase after Fudge now. He wants to connect on him, trying to slow him down. He can't hit the shots. And Bvoy now popping out of the bush again. Oh, Yuuji does get the bubble connected onto him, has to back it up. This is so dicey. You can see Impact is now TPing back in with the rest of the team. Will they just turn on to Impact here? Fudge trying to get a little bit of a chunk down onto him, can't do much.
And this still gives Shopify complete control over this Baron area, right? Like, they can do this for a really long time. Palafox's ult is almost back up.
Yep. We're trapped in mid lane until somebody blinks. Impact needs to check the bush once again.
Yeah, Impact is going to be the target again. He gets hit by the bubble. He's going to be stunned up. He's going to be knocked back. He's going to be pulled in by the Infernal Chains. But throw as much as you want at him. This guy's a brick wall, but he is losing some health. He's down about half HP at this point. We'll see if he can actually heal up whatsoever. Yeon still just fighting desperately for this wave. This game is on a knife's edge. It really is incredibly tense. But Shopify haven't had the confidence to actually pull the trigger on starting the Baron.
It's a 5,300 health, 350 armor, Sion. That's why he's able to face check so much. And finally, they're on to the Baron, making Team Liquid
Palafox
check
is here.
deeper.
Yeah, Palafox has great positioning. They are going to be able to push him out of that brush. APA now sees that red buff was aggroed. You can see Fudge on the side trying to maintain positioning as Contractz and Bvoy will just two-man this
Shopify
great
Baron.
positioning. Shopify just don't allow TL to ever walk in. They know without the flash on Yeon, walking in is likely a death sentence in that spot.
This game is so tense. Really well done from Shopify. Kind of winning the war of attrition in mid lane, right? They were able to consistently have to send, TL had to consistently send Impact in, routinely phase check, really nice use of fog, really nice use of setup, nets them the Baron, and TL's gold lead is now 400.
And this could be a 2-0 for Shopify if they can close this out. The momentum has been shifting in their favor. 4 consecutive Ocean Drakes. They have the Soul. They have the Baron. Bvoy has been popping off in these team fights. They haven't been able to quite close the deal, but they are getting very close.
Yeah, they'll definitely get this mid-tier 2. I love how Bvoy has been using this Lucian, right? Like, he's been able to posture a lot more aggressively, especially since he locked in that GA. Really, really well done from him. And they should be able to get some damage on this top tier 2 as well. We'll go down.
Yeon now on his 6 items, was fiddling around with his build a little bit, did decide on the Hurricane, the Mortal Reminder, so he has some heal cut. Was deciding if he wanted to go for Swifties or not. He actually sold his boots, bought Swifties, then undid that, then went back to Berserker Greaves. So
back to Swifties.
Just trying to debate exactly how he wants to play it out. You know, thinking about how do we win this game, and feeling that the move speed in this positioning is actually more important than the extra attack speed.
He really just has been getting spaced in this game. Like, Bvoy's been tagging him with Cullings. Palafox is hitting him with so many nice ultimates. Or, sorry, not ultimates, but just keeping the ball in difficult positions for him to deal with. And Elder Drake is up in 55 seconds here.
And Elder is the question that Shopify will be posing here. You know, can you actually get to us and answer this? Because that is often the real game ender. But that being said, not a lot has been done with this Baron buff. It is a 3K power play, but they have not been threatening the base whatsoever here. And if this Baron does expire, even if they take the Elder, there's an opportunity that TL could just wave clear against it. You know, if you don't have those 2 buffs combined, it's hard to sometimes force your opponent's hand and make them fight you.
Yeah, we'll see. Bvoy posturing really aggressively out here.
Yep.
A lot of damage onto Yuuji.
The GA is back up and active now here for Yuuji once again. This game so tense. Palafox and Fudge on the side here are controlling space very well. This tag team duo of the Soul Laners from Shopify, I feel like has been positioning so well, and Bvoy is going to get flashed on by Yuuji. Is that the error here? He's going to get CC'd up, he's going to pop the Crescent Guard and get the ulti plus Mikhail's from CoreJJ, but it's a trade of flashes there. Yuuji for Bvoy. Bvoy has been so important for the Shopify team.
It's so hard for Team Liquid to move in now with no flash and ult on their jungler. They're just hoping to be able to get this mid wave, but Fudge is so smart here, cutting off the minion wave, so Team Liquid won't be able to push when Shopify go for Elder.
Even without flash, Bvoy feeling confident, stepping forward, looking for some more damage here again. Can they punish the missing flash? That is the question. APA is going to look for it, and APA is going to connect, but doesn't even matter. Almost bursts him down, but can't finish him off. And it's Fudge on the other side, trying to put pressure on Yuuji and the rest of the team there. Bvoy survives, thanks to the help from Palafox and the cleanse. APA couldn't 100-0 him, and the rest of the TL couldn't get there because Fudge was just zoning them off.
Oh, Yeon so strong, trying to push them away, but Bvoy has the GA. He doesn't want
Yeon gets tagged over the wall. Did Yeon go too far? He's in trouble, but he almost 100-0s Bvoy. Bvoy survives, though. In comes Impact, and now the GA has been triggered. Contractz in the backline almost gets Yeon, but Fudge finishes the job. Knocks down the bot lane as Palafox, Fudge, and Contractz will not be stopped. Impact, though, can cut the wave. Impact's going to TP to bot and try to kill the minions here to deny a possible end.
70-second death timer on Yuuji. Impact really needs to clear that minion wave.
He's got it. They're going to go for the dragon instead.
Yeah.
They realize they can't actually end the game. Impact couldn't die, and he killed the wave. Great play from him.
Wow. What a rescue from Impact, kind of keeping them slowly in the game. Shopify going to be able to take down this Elder. Shout out to Fudge. I did not believe in this Aatrox. I really, really didn't. He has done such a good job of marking targets and then additionally trying to get on to Yeon.
He can get in.
He might be.
Can. Yeah, he got in and blocked it, but doesn't matter. Looks like they can't catch up.
Walk it off. APA is going to maybe do something sneaky. They're just trying to
They're waiting for
maximize
Bvoy.
Elder as long as possible.
They're waiting for the respawn on Bvoy here, and Bvoy sells the GA. That was triggered, so now he has the BT. He's just going to sit here, and they're going to wait until he respawns, but they need to make sure no one else can get over here for a random steal, because that is a 700 HP Elder Dragon.
Yay.
There's no jinx in the game.
I mean, if APA goes over there, he's likely to die. This would be risky. APA is going to look for the one-shot onto Seos. He will get it, but the question is, can he actually get out? He tries to juke them out, but they do not bite. They're attacking on both sides. Gets the kill on Seos, but that is your life for that of the support. You're dead for 70 seconds. It's just not worth.
No, it's not worth it all, right? Especially with how important he is in these Team Liquid team fights.
And the Baron's up in 50 again.
Yeah, with the Elder buff. So I don't think Team Liquid's going to be contesting that one. Watching this fight one more time, Shopify just doing such a good job of preventing Team Liquid from having a wave or a spot to play from. They trapped him. APA just has to go for this all-out play, but he's so deep that Yeon and the rest of the team can't move through the Aatrox and the Sejuani. So yes, he kills the support, but sacrificed himself. And now, if it's one team without a support, one team without a mid lane, you're going to take the team without support every single time. And it's all about whether or not Yeon can hit. So just watch Fudge and Yeon and the battle that commences as Yeon tries to kill Bvoy.
This is where I really want to give so much credit to Fudge, right? Because it's so hard for Yeon to step up with Fudge just constantly in his face. And when Contractz is able to get onto Yeon in the backline, Fudge immediately follows up, finishes him off.
I feel like Fudge and Contractz smurf that fight so hard. From the very beginning, when APA gets that engage onto Bvoy, they're zoning off the backline, so TL can never actually get back involved, can never actually be a part of that. They're cutting off both sides, then they're playing over the wall brilliantly there to actually stop Yeon from getting anything done afterwards, as Fudge is just dodging in and out of that Raptor pit. Contractz goes over the wall to finish him off. Like, that is amazing frontlining from the Shopify top side.
Yeah, they're easily able to pick up this Baron as well, and now we'll see if they can push for the end.
Yeah, and it's looking like they have everything they need. They want to try to get this done in the next 45 seconds with the Elder buff here. They have Soul, they have Baron, they have Elder. The question is, can TL hold the line?
APA is trying to threaten this flank on the outside to prevent them from all-inning, but Fudge is marking him.
Yeah, Fudge is marking him, and he's going to heal up off that clone because he has the Ocean Soul. Hits the clone, heals right back to full. Contractz here has the ball from Palafox. Are they going to send for it? They're going to go, they flash in, they do catch Yeon. Yeon gets McHale's, but can he even survive? He pops out the red gun ulti, but it's not enough. Fudge in the backline takes him down, but on the other side, it's APA trying to make something happen, but it just doesn't matter. They don't have the damage. They don't have the juice. Shopify Rebellion knock down TL. Take out 3 of them. They're pushing for the win here. It's up to Yuuji. It's up to APA. Will they be able to hold the line here? Bvoy is dead, but it just doesn't seem like it matters. They don't have the damage. They don't have the wave clear. Shopify Rebellion are looking for kills, are looking for more because they know this game is theirs. Shopify Rebellion will take it and move to match point.
Revan said he believed in his team to pilot these champions. He believed in this draft despite the fact that I absolutely thought TL won out. Amazing, amazing game from Fudge on the Aatrox.